Hi, so we are going to continue on with your PowerPoint. Remember, this is just to review what we've done this last week, so you can get some extra practice. So now we're going to look at area of polygons. So remember, just like before, you're going to continue writing this in your notebook, like right underneath where you've been writing everything. So polygons have straight sides and they are closed figures. Okay, so here are the types of polygons. So it just has to be closed. So you see all of these shapes are closed, triangles closed, the square is closed, and it has to have straight sides. So if you look, even the decagon has like it's a bunch of straight sides that are just connected, so it kind of makes it look like a circle, but it's not quite. So it has to have straight sides. So if it has a circle, so if it's circle, or if it's a shape with like a semicircle on top, that does not count as a polygon because it's not straight sides. And then remember, when we're trying to like find the area of complex polygons, we just need to break them up into different shapes. So moving on to the next page. So this will be number 14 in your notebook that you've been working on. So we're going to find the perimeter and the area of this shape. So when we're looking at perimeter, we're just going to add up all the sides. So the first thing you want to do with a shape like this is make sure that they actually gave us all the sides, because sometimes they want us to figure it out on our own. So we do have this side, okay? So that side's 13. So we're going to have 13 plus, they gave us the 19. That's good. So 13 plus 19. And then we have the 18 right here, so plus 18. And then we have 16 right here, so plus 16. And then 5 and 3. So plus 5 and then plus 3. So then I'm just going to throw all this in my calculator really quick just to make it easier. So we have 13 plus 19 plus 18 plus 16 plus 5 plus 3. So you should get the perimeter is 74. And remember, 74. So yards. And since it's perimeter, we don't square it. So it's 74 yards. So just go ahead and make sure you have all that written down. And I'm about to erase it so we can do area. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead. Okay, now we're going to do area. So for area, I want you to just quickly do a sketch of this shape. So just really quickly. It might help. So we're going to break it up into two rectangles. So it might help, so just draw like a big rectangle on the bottom and then a little rectangle, and then just quickly label the sides. Just a quick sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. The lines, don't worry about the lines being straight too much. Just quick sketch. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you need to. So we need to find the area. So like I said, I'm going to break it up into these two rectangles right here, so this one and this one. But you could break it up any way like you want. If you wanted to, you could break it up into these two rectangles. So you would have this big rectangle here and then this rectangle. But I'm going to break it up the other way. But again, you can do it either way. But I'm going to do it like this. So now I'm going to go ahead and find the area of this big rectangle right here. So this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and find the area of that one. So we have to be careful well, let's do the base first. So remember, the area, I'm just going to write it up here so I have more space, but the area of a rectangle, remember, is just base times height. Base times height. Oh, sorry, this pen's a little hard to write with. So for this one, as we can see, this is our base. So it's 18. and then parentheses. Remember, parentheses mean multiplication. So when you're looking at the height, we have to be careful because we have 19 on this side and 16 on this side. But you have to remember this 19 is for this, let me use red, is for this whole side right here. But we're only looking from here to here, right? So this is all we need. Okay? So that's why we're going to use this 16 over here, okay? Because that's what we need. It's only the big rectangle. So just be careful. You always just have to pay attention to what side length they gave you. Okay, so just pay attention. So we're going to use the 16. So it's going to be 18 times 16. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put that in my calculator really quick. So 18 times 16, and make sure you guys are writing this down, is 288. And again, it's yards squared. So I'm going to write that here. So this big one is 288 yards squared. So now we just need to find the area of this little rectangle right here. So again, it's the same thing. Area is base times height. So if we're looking at our base, so this is our base, right? But remember, opposite sides are equal in a rectangle. So if this up here is 13, that means that this line right here that we need is also 13. So our base is 13. So we have area is equal to 13 times, and then the height is right here, you see? So it's just 3. So 13 times 3, and 13 times 3, let me just throw my calculator really quick, it's just going to be 39. And it is area, so it's going to be yards squared. So now that we have our two areas, we have the 288 and the 39, now all we have to do is add them together to get the area of the entire shape. So I'm going to do 39 plus 288, and I get 327 yards squared. So that's the final answer. So just make sure you have all of this copied. Okay, and then remember the last step is just to take the 288 and then add it. So plus the 39, and that gave us the 327. Okay, so you can go ahead and pause if you need to copy this down, but I'm going to go ahead and erase this and move on to the next problem. Okay, so next problem. So this will be problem number 15. So we have a rectangle and a triangle. So for this one, let's go ahead and look at perimeter because there's something I want to point out to you guys. So remember, when you're doing perimeter, we need to add up all the sides. So we would go and we would start and we'd say, okay, we have this side, that's good. And we have this side, good. They gave us this side and this side, but they didn't give us this side of the triangle. And this, so since it's a triangle, so remember with rectangles, the two sides across from each other are equal, right? So this is 17 and this is 17. But with triangles, you can't do that, right? So with triangles, we don't know. There's no way of knowing what this is. So I just wanted to show you guys that you might not be able to find the perimeter of all of these if they don't give you every single line. Okay? So for this one, we can't find the perimeter because we don't know what this is. And again, like I said, it's not like a rectangle where we can just look at the shape across from it. We can't do that. So perimeter, just write not enough information. So not enough info. So that's for number 15, perimeter. So write perimeter, not enough info, and you can pause if you need to, because I'm going to go ahead and erase. Okay, so now we're going to do area. So again, same thing. I want you to just do a quick sketch of this very quickly. Doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you have the labels. So this one, they kind of already broke it up into the shapes for us. So we have this rectangle here, and we have a triangle. So I'm going to do this one in red. So remember, let's do the rectangle first. So remember, the area for a rectangle is just area is equal to base times height. So the base for this one is right down here, and it's 17. And then our height, again, you have to be careful. We have a 22 on this side and a 10 on this side. But you have to look, the 10 is only from here to here, right? So we're going to use the 22 because that's the full height of the rectangle. So 17 times 22. So I'm going to stick that in my calculator really quick. 17 times 22 gives me 374 centimeters, and remember it's going to be squared. Okay, so now we're going to find the area of the triangle. So remember, the area for a triangle is area is equal to 1/2 base times height. So we know that the base is 19, so that one's easy. So it's going to be 1/2 19 times, and then so the height. So we need to find the height. So this is our height. So this one's a little bit tricky, but you just have to look at the information you have. So we know that this whole side over here is 22, and that this little side right here is 10, right? So to find the piece that we're missing, we can take 22 and subtract 10 to get this little side right here. Okay? And so 22 minus 10 is just going to give us 12. So that means this is 12. Oh, excuse me, I just sneezed. So that means the little side that we were looking for is 12. Okay, so we just took the 22 minus the 10. So our height is 12. So now I'm just going to plug this into our calculator since it's such big numbers. So I'm going to do 19 times 12 first. So 19 times 12 gives me 228. So we have 1/2 times 228. And so then remember, we're just going to take 228 and divide it by 2. So I'm going to do that in my calculator, and you get 114 centimeters squared. But we are not done, remember, so this is just the area of the triangle, so we have to add it with the area of the rectangle. So when we do that, I'm going to come over here, we get 374 plus 114 is equal to, so I'm going to throw this in my calculator, 374 plus 114, you get 488 centimeters squared for the whole thing. Okay? So copy this down, and I'm going to go ahead and move on. Okay, this is the last one that we have, and I am running out of time to record, so this might be a 2-part video. We will see. So we're doing the same thing. We're just finding perimeter and area. So this one we're going to have to do a little bit of work for the perimeter. So we have this side right here. So we have 6 plus, this side is 2 plus, so we don't know this side, right? So, but let's look. We know that this whole side right here is 6. And then if you come down and look here, this is 3. So if this is 3, that means that this dotted line is 3. So now to find this side, we can just take the 6 and subtract the 3 from the dotted line, right? So we're going to take this line and just subtract this section that we already know. So 6 minus 3, that's just going to give me 3. So that means that this side right here is 3. So I'm going to have 6 plus 3 plus, continuing on, this side is also 3, plus this side is 3, plus, and so again, this last side over here, we don't have it, but what we do know, I'm going to do this one in yellow, we know that this is 3. So if this is 3, that means that this is 3. And then this little piece right here is 2. So if that's 2, then that means this piece up here is also 2. So we have 3 down here and 2. So we're just going to add those together to get 5.